Quick note before I start, the screen grabs in this video are fairly low quality, and of course Netflix no longer allows us to take screen grabs, but I'll probably source some better ones for next week's video. Anyway, onto the recap. It's 1955 and Jug is still narrating. He tells us that it's been 2 days since Bailey's comet came down and zapped them into the 1950s. Jug lives in an old train car with his dog. Everybody is a junior again at Riverdale High. Betty and Kevin are dating. Jason Blossom is still alive, but now he's Jillian. His name is Jillian. Obviously, only Jug knows that they're in the wrong era, and he hasn't told anyone else yet. He says that he wants to make sense of this with Tabitha, since remember, Tabitha is Riverdale's guardian angel and she can time hop. Just then, Tony, Tabitha, and some other students of colour get off the bus. They'd just come home from the trial of Emmett Till, which took place in Mississippi. Tabitha knows Jug's name, but otherwise they're not close, so they seem to be acquaintances at best. Archie's mom tries to confiscate Archie's hot rod car. She's really shaken up by the recent death of James Dean, who died in a car accident. Archie eventually has to hand his keys over to his mom, and he goes to school on the bicycle. Quick fun fact about Molly Ringwald, who I adore, who plays Archie's mother. She did the English translation from the original French from one of my favourite books, Philippe Besson's Lie With Me. Tony hands in her story on Emmett Till to Betty, and Betty agrees that it's excellent writing and it's an important story that needs to be told. But in the past, when she tried to get writing about Emmett Till published, the principal always shut it down. She will try again though. There's a new student at Riverdale High. She's just moved into town from sunny LA, and her name is Veronica Lodge. She's taking a break from Hollywood to live a small town life. She's the daughter of very famous actor parents. Veronica also claims that she went skinny dipping with James Dean. And yeah, she has all the glamorous tales to tell everybody. One of Jug's teachers says that the school will be getting a new telescope to observe Bailey's comet that will be coming in 2 years. Archie offers Veronica a walk home, but she says that she's not really the kind of girl who walks. She's already secured a lift home with Jillian, who in turn leaves Cheryl stranded because his car is a 2-seater. Betty and Tony go and see the principal, but he says that the article is not suitable for publishing. He predictably shuts it down, so Betty tries to get her dad to read the story on his show, but his main sponsor, or advertiser, is, well, the Blossom family. Betty's parents also take this is not our business approach to the Emmett Till case. Like, they don't want to really talk about or confront it. Archie tells Jug that when he saw Veronica for the first time, it was like a thunderbolt went through him. It's so weird, but the actor who plays Archie is so good in this time jump. Like, he fits in an all-American comic book character kind of way. Really simple like. For some reason, I find him charming here. Jug thinks that if they were brought to the 1950s by Bailey's comet, then that might be the answer to getting home. He goes digging then to find a time capsule that the kids had buried in the future, thinking that even though it's a long shot, maybe it's still buried there and the items in the time capsule could trigger the gang's memories. Sure enough, he finds the capsule, but there is a shadowy figure watching him from the distance. Veronica sees that Archie has a new car and he asks her out on a date, and they go to Pops, obviously. Jug gets everyone together to look through their time capsule items. He tells them that they buried the objects in the future. He also tells them that they're from the future and they need to get back there. He tells them a little bit about their future selves, and Archie's like, well, why would we want to go back to that future? And Archie just doesn't believe it. He wants Jug to snap out of it. Cheryl finds out that Veronica wasn't actually cast in a big upcoming movie, and she goes to confront Veronica while she's on her date with Archie, wondering out loud what Veronica is actually doing in Riverdale. Cheryl screams that Veronica has been lying the whole time. She also theorizes that Veronica's parents actually threw her out for being a lying liar who lies. Veronica admits to Archie that her parents banished her. She acted out for attention, and the last straw with them was when she was involved in a convoy of girls who were going to cheer on James Dean. Her parents wanted it all out of the papers, so they shipped her off to Riverdale on a private plane. Tony suggests reading out a poem about Emmett Till during the morning announcements, and they talk to Cheryl about it because she's kind of in charge of things. Cheryl is on board. Tony reads the poem to the school, and it's a really touching moment, but the principal is mad. They get away with it though, and not only that, one of the teachers tells the class that they should discuss the poem that Langston Hughes wrote about Emmett Till. She asks the students to talk about how it made them feel, and she asks Tony and Tabitha and the other student who was at the Mississippi trial to talk about their experience if they feel comfortable. After school one day, both Jillian and Archie offer Veronica a ride home,
but she decides that she'll walk home that day. While he's in Pops, the guardian angel Tabitha, so not 1950s Tabitha, who remembers everything, joins Jug at his table. She says that she can't take him home. She can't take any of them home, not yet. She tells him that the comet that brought them to 1955 triggered an extinction level event. At the moment of impact, when the comet hit, she, Tabitha, used her life force to send everybody back into the past, to a point where they might somehow get a future where the comet didn't happen. As for the gang, she says that they have to stay here in 1955 and make the most of it and try to do good, basically. She, in the meantime, will try to untangle the timelines, but it could take a while because all the timelines did get tangled. She also says then that Jug's knowledge is an anomaly, and she has to make him forget the future because his asking questions and his knowledge could mess things up. Then they kiss and she walks away. After this, he can still remember for just a little bit, but only enough to type out 3 words from a Martin Luther King quote that she told him. It goes something like, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but bend it towards justice." Tabitha had told him that he and the gang should do the work to make sure that it does. Just then, he sees his wooden beanie on the desk, the beanie that was mysteriously missing from the time capsule, even though he did put it in there in the future. He's also lost his future memories, though they just evaporated suddenly, and so he believes that he's never seen this beanie before. And that was episode 1 of Riverdale. I thought it was a little long at an hour. I'm hoping that they'll bring them down to 45 minutes, the episodes, but this was fairly enjoyable to watch. I do think that it was definitely an improvement from last season. I felt kind of like that the current events at the time found their way into the story. I thought that they handled that really well. Or at the very least, it wasn't as clumsy as you'd expect from Riverdale.
Anyway, if you have seen it, feel free to share your thoughts, and thank you for watching.